there was a beautiful story, somebody who did the last coach training thing. I don't remember exactly when it was last year, where he just came across a guy who was just walking at night, and he came across a guy kind of sitting on the edge of a bridge in that way that when I do it, Rob goes, right? Like it looked precarious. And he just went over to chat to him. And, it turned out the guy was thinking about it, was thinking about jumping. And he said, I just sat with him. And I didn't say much, but I was just with him. And I listened and I said a few things, gave him my number if he wanted to talk, and said, he sent me a message this morning, that saved his life. Like, how does that happen? I have no idea. And I have a theory that makes me smile. Right? See, I love this as an image. I know it doesn't work this way. Okay. But I like the idea. And I don't often personify God, but for this image, I'm going to personify God. Right? So God's sitting up there and going, Brian needs an angel. Who have I got? Oh, you're available. And for some reason that I don't know, I just feel like walking down the aisle right now. And when I do, I bump into Brian. I go, hey, how you doing? And I come alive and Brian comes alive. And neither of us we're none the wiser that the whole thing was plotted. And if you weren't available, Grant's around. And if Grant wasn't available, Graham would be. And if Graham wasn't, Joseph would be. And if Joseph, like it's just taken care of one way or another. That's what it feels like to me. I am not saying that is what it is like. I have no insight into that whatsoever. But isn't that a nice image? Like, isn't that because we don't know why. Like we were joking, John just felt like driving in today. I don't want to take the train. I want to be on my own. I want air conditioning. Right? But it turns out he found out when he got in that his train wasn't running today. Like Jean was telling me, she went to a restaurant last night. She's got I don't know how many of you have something that for you is like I know some people who like whenever they see a butterfly, it's like, okay, that's the little touchstone that I'm being looked after. That kind of thing. A lot of people have it. Well, Jean's is a purple rose. And so they're at a restaurant last night, and Rashim was actually the one making Jean tell me. But they were at a restaurant last night, and all the tables have these like red dead flowers on them. And the waiter walks over to their table, takes away the flower, doesn't say anything, and brings back a purple rose. Now, I'm sorry, but that doesn't make sense. And it happens all the time. Like life is a magical, interlinked in ways we can't begin to imagine. But boy, can we enjoy. Can we delight in? Can we marvel at? That we get to be not only taken care of in that way, but used to take care of others in that way. One of my favorite Marianne Williamson quotes, less famous than the other one. God heard us. He sent help. He sent you. We get to be part of this, and we don't have to be. We can ignore the call, and it's okay, because if we're not available, Grant is. And if Grant isn't, you are. And if you aren't, Jean is. It's like, don't even have to worry about it. But when you're not preoccupied with trying to be whoever you think you need to be and trying to get wherever you think you need to get and trying to do whatever you think you have to do, when you're just available, you're just here, you're in the room, wherever the room is, you will be used. You will be used for a purpose recognized by yourself as a mighty one. This is the true joy in life, said George Bernard Shaw, to be used for a purpose recognized by yourself as a mighty one, instead of a selfish clod of ailments and grievances, complaining that the world will not devote itself to making you happy. We get to experience that. And the only cost of entry is willingness. And the freedom of it is we can say no. And I can say no today and be available tomorrow. And I can say no now and be available in 5 minutes. And I can be available now and shut it down if I need to. It's so kind. It is so responsive. And all that ever is needed if we're feeling disconnected. We're feeling like, oh, I'm not being used. Don't, by the way, say that to real people. It sounds weird. I've come to notice. But it is a simple, I'll call it a prayer. Use me. And you will be. And you won't be used like my fear, right? My fear was that if I did that, I'd be used for worthy shit. It's like, oh God, if I surrender to God's will, I'm going to have to go to some poor place and help poor people. I don't come off well in this story, do I? Yeah. I should have thought that through before I started. Like when I was first learning, because I didn't know what made a difference, but I wanted to. I wanted to be part of difference making in the world. And I assumed it must be a doing. And plenty of people were willing to tell me which doing I needed to do to make a difference. And one of the doings I learned to make a difference was a particular conversation and it was a conversation, nothing to do with the principles, but it was being taught in prisons and schools and the military. And I knew it was one of those ones. I heard about it when I was in England, and I heard there was one starting in New England, and I was just like, I need to be in that. And I managed to get myself into it. And I learned how to have this particular type of, it was a very formal, it was much more structured conversation that helps people. And so part of the point is, okay, now that you do, you need to find places to go do it. And I kind of knew, I'd kind of known from the beginning, I lived near a boys' home. And I kind of knew that was where I should go. And I remember being parked in my car to go into the boys' home to talk to them about it, and just feeling so inadequate and insecure, and like, what do I have to offer, and who am I to, and why would they listen to me? We have no shared life experience. And so I called the teacher, the mentor, for a pep talk. And I said, I don't see how they're going to listen to me. And he said, yeah, they probably won't. He said, but it's okay. Rich white people need help too. Now that actually, once I stopped laughing, it did something for me. Because you see, I assumed I knew who needed this, right? Them, they needed this. And I, on my white horse, right, could deliver it and then ride off in the sunset with my bride behind me. Thank you, right? And I look at it now and it's like, wow, that was fucking arrogant. But at the time, it felt nice, right? It felt helpful. And just over time, I've come to see, oh, I not only do not have a say in who's impacted by me, I wouldn't want one. I just show up and reign. In fact, I just show up. And things change. And that's not because I'm special. It's because I'm here. If I wasn't here, it wouldn't happen. If you weren't here, it wouldn't happen. But you are, so it will.